There's not too many plugins that can really get me going. I mean, really get me going, like get me aroused. You know what I'm saying? Pun intended. The plugin of the week this week is the Arousor from Empirical Labs. I'm really excited to show you guys this plugin because I've been using it for a while and I love it. It's amazing. And I'll show you some of the cool features that this thing does besides compression, right? So let's get into it. Plugin of the week. You tuned into the right spot. Radium Records. Pow!
You missed it.
You didn't say what head.
All right, dramatic entrance, but this is the plugin I think everybody needs. I think that it's the plugin that if you make rap records, especially, you're making trap, you got a female artist, you got a rapper that's got kind of a peaky range, he's got that 2K thing going, too much cut, etc. This is going to fix it. And I'll show you exactly how I do that with this plugin. First of all, I'm gonna give you a breakdown real quick, so do not stop watching this right now because this is going to show you the golden trick of the Arousor, okay? But first I gotta show you a little breakdown of what it is. Basically, it's a distressor circuitry of compression right here. So you have the in, the attack, the release, the out. Okay, that's your compressor circuitry with the ratio right here. You have this really cool attack modification, which basically shows, the way I look at it is it's either like a very abrupt knee, like a hard knee or a soft knee, right? That's what you're doing with this. That's how I hear it with my ears. I don't know. Read the manual if you want to know more about that. Okay, and then you have total harmonic distortion, which this is incredible. You can hit the saturation and it'll show you like, look, you're going warm, you're going hot, you're going toasty, you're pinned. All right, so very basic little breakdown of this. Rivet is kind of like all buttons in, right? On 1176. If you're not familiar, you should get familiar and mess with it. Now I'm gonna show you guys exactly why this is the most powerful compressor. And it's this section right here, okay? So you have a little detection high pass filter. Really normal, I think, for most compressors nowadays. But basically saying, you know, don't detect on the circuitry anything, you know, past or below 265 all the way up to 1K, which is kind of cool. All right. And then the next thing you have here is the detector sidechain EQ. And then you have a blend, wet, dry knob. Really cool, right? Okay, so you hit the E and then you get into more dry level trim. So you could actually like go, oh, you know, I want to do a blend, but then I also kind of want to bring that dry level down. Kind of cool. Gives you a little extra thing there. Okay, so I'm going to leave it 100% wet. I'm going to show you a little record that I mixed a while back. Female artist. The track is produced by Kino Valentino. Dope producer, trap producer, and I'm going to show you the hook here, and then we're going to turn the Arousor on instead of the LA2A or the tube tech here, so we can really hear it, hear what it's doing.
Redwood, I want to see them all red, I want to see them all dead, I had them around me. Redwood, I want to see them all red, I want to see them all dead, I had them around me.
Okay, so I got this compression, I got this thing dialed in, I already mixed this thing, but I'm gonna take the the LA2A, and I'm just gonna bypass it, right? So I'm just holding down Command, Control, clicking on Pro Tools. If you don't know that key command, cool, you got this far, you get a little key command, bam. All right, and then I'm gonna turn the Arousor on. Command, click it, and it's on. So let's start to compress this vocal with the Arousor, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the detector sidechain to help kind of get rid of some frequencies that I don't really want and basically push more of those frequencies into that detector to tell the compressor to compress harder on just those specific frequencies, even using this band, tightening the notch and everything for the Q, the quality. So this is BW for like bandwidth, I'm imagining. All right, so let's get it.
Redwood, I want to see them all red, I want to see them all dead, I had them around me. Redwood, I want to see them all red, I want to see them all dead, I had them around me.
Okay, so the first thing you're noticing is you're getting a little saturation. I'm barely compressing. So let's mess around a little bit more with the saturation and just see how much we can push this and if we even want that much saturation. I'm also going to mute the doubles just so, and the harmonies just so you can hear more of what the plugin's doing on the lead, okay? Here it is.
Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me.
Okay, so now we have the opportunity to, what I'm hearing is kind of some congestion in the vocal that's making it very, like, less intelligible, right? So how do you treat that?
Just to get back to that.
Well, a lot of people are going to go like, well, just grab an EQ and then compress and then EQ and then EQ and then, you know, but like this is the great part about this plugin. And I'm going to give you the money shot right now, right here with the Arousor and why it is so arousing. So now I can pick the frequency, which I'm hearing is kind of like in that either 200 to like 500 area, that like it's just kind of nasally, right? So I'm going to go find that nasal. I'm going to pinpoint it a little bit, and then I'm going to boost it into the compressor circuitry so that it chokes down on that a little bit more. So basically compresses a little bit more, and then we can bring up the output gain to then level everything out again, right? So we're getting compression, but then we're compressing harder, which is kind of like a dynamic EQ on the parts that we want to get rid of frequency-wise. Okay, so check this out. It's really cool. And this works best, I think, for something that's really peaky in like the 2K, like harsh frequencies, where you can detect on the sidechain EQ these really harsh frequencies and just dip them out. Kind of like how Soothe 2 works or a multiband compressor works, etc. It's built in right here, which is rad. So let's get it. Let's dial it in.
Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me.
So you can hear it's really choking down on that frequency. And if I actually go into maybe some more intelligible stuff, just so you can hear it better, like let's say like the top end, right? Like the 3K area, and I really choke in on this, you'll notice that the vocal gets really round, right? So it kind of fattens up the vocal. You can do this with like peaky singers that like go like, hey, you know, and they're like yelling, or like females that, ah, you know, they're like sound like they're screaming. You can soften out that frequency and that pitch, right? So check this out.
Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me.
So as you notice also, you're going to get kind of a pumping effect, and that's where that attack modification, where you can modify the attack and the release. Like, see this little diagram here? This is kind of showing you what it's doing, right? So it's like the ADSR basically, and you can do that and mess with that after you've set the frequency that you're trying to trim out. So this is a really, really powerful tool, and it's one of those tools like that I think really help with smoothing out harsh frequencies. As you can see, when I tried to do it with the boxy, like nasally stuff, it actually is just not that effective with that. Like, I would actually go in and use an EQ before it or after the compression using the Arousor. or, you know, like just use some other technique there to get rid of boxiness. But as far as like harsh frequencies, it works really, really well. Like I can go find that 2K area, right? And let's just do this one last thing and just show you like what it'll do for 2K and just kind of soften it out. I mean, obviously I've mixed this vocal already, but I'm just showing you what the plugin can do.
Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all.
So I like this a lot, not necessarily on vocals, but I like it on stuff that's gonna be kind of like percussive, right? Things that are like, oh, that every time that hits, it's like really percussive and it's kind of irritating to the ear and it's getting in the way of the vocals or something, right? So it'll just kind of dip that nicely. It'll just get rid of that frequency. And that's the Arousor from Empirical Labs. You got to pick it up. It's well worth it. Usually it's around like $200, I think. And I think you get 2 or 3 licenses. Highly recommend Empirical Labs stuff. I just love it. The first compressor I ever had was a Fatso, you know, and just incredible compressor. And nice tape saturation and just cool vibes. So that's it. Grab this little download, free download in the link in the description where you can get some presets and template learning stuff for Pro Tools that I've built for you. And yeah, just step your Pro Tools game up, right? Right there. It's free. Grab it. Like the video, share it with anybody that you think would like to see a little bit of an overview of the Arousor. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Peace, guys.